What's going on, guys? So you all have caught me in the middle of a project that I'm just about done with, and I wanted to give you an overview of what I'm doing. So the folks over at Reolink, who I've collaborated with before, have this really cool product out called the Reolink GO. It's this camera right here. Doesn't look too different from a lot of other connected cameras, but the difference between this one is it uses 4G LTE instead of traditional Wi-Fi like you typically see. And it has an internal battery, and this specific kit also comes with a solar panel. So there's a lot of things that make this special from your traditional security camera. And we have cameras on the RV. So if you saw the trip that we went out on, I told you I installed a bunch of Blink cameras. Well, they require me to have a power source on the RV. So essentially what we've done is we've routed the solar panel on the RV to a large battery bank, and it keeps it topped off so we can power that system as well as the 4G LTE router we have on board, which provides connectivity to those cameras whenever we're out and about. But this specific one is really nice because it is a standalone system. So you have the battery on board, which lasts up to like 3 months, I believe, as well as a solar panel that comes with this specific kit, which can provide constant charge to the battery that's inside of here. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this, so hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, so first of all, it's really cool that the new rubber covering for the camera is this really interesting camouflage color. So that's kind of cool. The camera itself is also really nice. It's a bit heavy, so my big concern would be about its long-term reliability if it's shaking like this attached to an RV. So, you know, honestly, if we lose this camera at some point, if we're traveling, that would probably be because of the weight, and the fact is it's going to put some stress on the mount and whatever you have it attached to. I certainly wouldn't attach the mount just to your exterior wall, because you would run into the scenario where it would simply just tear out eventually from the backing and, in this case, the ASDEL panel. What I would recommend is connect the actual mount to one of your aluminum studs behind the wall, and that would provide you a bit more reassurance. And use some silicone sealant or something just to allow the actual base of the unit to attach to the sidewall with some adhesion. So this specific camera is pretty cool. I've already charged it, and I've already put in a T-Mobile 4G LTE chipset. I thought I might have to do some type of provisioning inside of the camera, but the cool thing was I simply got on a prepaid data plan with T-Mobile. I put the chip inside after they mailed it to me overnight, and when I installed the battery into the camera, it actually provisioned itself. So it was ready to go through the setup process without having to, you know, set it up specifically for T-Mobile, which was really cool. Then once I downloaded the Reolink app on my phone, I simply had to take a picture of the QR code, and it auto-configured everything. It was literally I'd probably say like a 3-minute or less setup. Very, very happy with it. Even the process of getting the app downloaded and set up was very, very quick. Overall, entire process to set up was probably 5 minutes or less. Now, the difficult part is how and where I'm going to mount it. Because I have solar power going to a battery bank for these cameras, I'm going to do it a little bit different, and I'm actually going to install it in a completely different trailer, but I'll explain why in a second. Okay, so here is my BTBRV cargo trailer, and I'm mounting the solar panel on top. It actually has a steel mount, so it's not a plastic pole, and then the actual panel, which is pretty rigid, is mounted on top. So as long as I guess I don't go through hurricane force winds, I'm probably going to be okay. By that I mean 75+ mile-an-hour winds. It'll probably still stay on there. I put a silicone bead around the bottom, and then I ran the cord. I'm actually going to run it through the inside right here. Then I'm going to pop it back out so I can keep the slack inside of the trailer, and then I'll just seal the hole up. But right off the bat, what I might end up doing is just bundling the cable up, putting it on top, and adhering it there just so I can test the system out. And then we're going to mount the camera right here along this outer lip, and it's going to point at the actual RV. So the entire purpose of this is to give me an external view of the RV whenever it's in storage from the outside. And the cool thing about this setup is I can actually take this camera and move it around to different locations because there's really no wires other than the solar panel. And as long as it's charged, as long as I have a mount, I can put it anywhere I want, which I think is super cool. So we're already halfway through this process. I'm just gonna take the camera itself, mount it up there, plug it in, and then secure the bundle, and I think we'll be ready to go. So let's go ahead and proceed and get this thing mounted in place. Okay, so I have the nifty little camouflage case covering it, and it comes with a charger, so you can plug the camera battery directly into a wall if you're going to be charging it that way, but I'm going to be charging it using the solar panel. It's going to essentially be permanently plugged in. It's already paired, and I'm essentially ready to go. The only thing that you would want to keep in mind at this point is making sure that your solar panel is facing the sun and you're getting the right amount of light going to it. And again, it is relatively heavy, so that is something you want to be a little cautious of, especially if you have this thing hanging off of a wall or anywhere where it's going to put a lot of stress on that mount right there. It also has some really cool features like a siren or an alarm, so if you see movement in the camera and it goes off and you're watching it and you see someone snooping around, you can actually cause it to make a siren noise, and you can talk through it and also listen, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and get this thing mounted and we'll see what it looks like on the actual app. Okay, so I'm just gonna screw it in place right here. I'm gonna have to tighten it right there with that collar, and then I will have it essentially facing at the RV like that. So let's go ahead and position it kind of in the way we want it. There we go. And I'll tighten the back mount and I'll tighten this up a little bit more. Okay, so I have the app open now. I downloaded the Reolink app, super easy to find in the Play or the iOS store. I have it already paired up. I'm gonna hit play over cellular data. Let's see what it looks like. And again, it's transmitting everything over T-Mobile 4G LTE right now. And I have pretty strong service out here, so I don't think I'll have a problem. There you see at the top. Oh, check that out. That is super cool. You can see the box for it still on the stairs. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Let's see how live and in real time it is. Very, very cool. So the nice thing about this is I can see a pretty good field of view as well. I can see all the way past the front. I can see down to about the midpoint of the main slide here. And what's also nice is I have the cameras on the fifth wheel already that will give me an extra field of view for whatever this misses. So again, it's going to be a really cool test. It's essentially having security cameras out at the site, which I've wanted, and this is going to give me a good vantage point of whatever's going on. Anyways, guys, this is pretty cool. I'll give you guys a follow-up on it. I've done reviews of Reolink products in the past. Super easy to set up, super convenient, very reliable. My only complaint about this setup is I feel they can make it a little bit lighter because it's pretty heavy with the battery. But again, the bigger battery gives it a longer standalone charge out here if you don't have it paired to a solar panel. And I don't have the solar panel plugged in yet. I'll plug that in here in a second. But it's working really good, and it's working completely off of battery right now. What do you guys think? Is this something you think you might want to put on your RV? The one thing I would definitely caution you about is how you mount it and where you mount it. And just keep in mind, over time, this might loosen, this might pull out, this might loosen. It's really tight right now, but who knows what road shock and vibration could do over time. So that's one thing you want to be cautious of. This might be an ideal solution if you're full timing it at an RV park, or if you're going to be at an RV park for, you know, several days, weeks, months at a time, and you want to have some really good surveillance with a nice articulating arm that gives you the ability to put the camera wherever you want. They actually have another version of this that is a little bit lower profile but larger overall because it's a pan tilt zoom camera. So you can actually go into the app and you can rotate the camera, zoom in, zoom out, and move it all around, which essentially gives you one camera that gives you a much larger area to be able to monitor. Of course, it doesn't do it all simultaneously, but it's still a cool setup. Anyways, this camera, I believe it's $250, $300 in that range. Again, they did provide it to me for evaluation. Anyways, guys, I will put a link to this in the description of the video if it's something you're interested in. It does not come with the SIM card. It comes with everything else you need except a SIM card. So you'll have to go to your provider. In my case, T-Mobile card popped right in. I think I'm on a $10 2 GB data plan. I'm not sure what it is, but it is absolutely sufficient for what I need. And I think when everything is said and done, I pay about 15 bucks a month for the service. So not too bad considering I have a completely wireless camera setup here at the RV. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel. And that solar panel is getting good energy, so I need to go ahead and plug it in. We'll talk to you again very soon.